Hey folks, it's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Today is Wednesday. It's November 30th. Hope you're doing well. I see we have quite a few people joining the live stream. Going to get started. Before we get to it, though, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can hit the subscribe button, tick the bell to be notified on any future videos or when I go live. Going to get started with today's video. Going to go over some news with regards to safe banking. The banking bill, Senate talks are heating up. And we know that we only have a few weeks left before the end of the year in this lame duck session to get something done. So going to jump into all that and more here today. Like I said, lots of people joining the stream. So thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. I see we have quite a few people joining us already. Welcome, welcome. If you're just joining the stream, make sure to smash like I said, help support me in the channel. Doesn't cost you anything. We'll get started with today's live stream. I'm going to do some technical analysis. We'll jump into the chat at the end as well. But we'll just go over the overall MJ space at the moment. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on the market. We'll go through some quick rapid fire news and some things to be aware of into the end of the year. But like I said, we do have a few weeks left in the end of the year to see some potential reform. And I'm repping the spinach hat, which I won at Fire and Flower. Also got the custom-made tarp that I have, the McDavid St. Paddy's Day edition. Pretty sweet. My friend makes these jerseys and made it for me a few weeks ago. Super impressed with it, but just trying to get in the mood, right? We know that we need something to lift our spirits, and it's been a pretty brutal couple of years in the space, but it is what it is, right? We know that it's only going to be legalized once, so we'll take the good with the bad, and we'll just take these opportunities of low volatility. We'll take these opportunities of low prices to continue to accumulate, right? Because this is once in a lifetime opportunity that's only going to happen once. Before we jump into today's content, though, I did do a video not too long ago on the Q4 earnings for Organogram OGI stock. They beat estimates, but stock didn't really move. Again, another case in point that fundamentals do not matter yet until we confirm monthly uptrends and we get out of this bear market and enter a new bull market. So I encourage you to check that out. But I was very impressed with their earnings. Very large sequential growth and also annual growth. But like I said, just we need the whole sector to confirm monthly uptrends. Also, something to remember as well, I did do a video with Normal. I did an interview with, I guess it was on the live stream. So I did do a live stream with political director Morgan Fox. If you haven't seen that, check that out. This one right here. But essentially, we went over the possibility of safe banking passing before the end of the year. And I encourage you to donate. It's a nonprofit organization that lobbies the U.S. government in order to get MJ legalized in the U.S. So if you haven't already donated to the cause, I encourage you to check that out. I'm not sponsored by any way, shape, or form by this organization. Like I said, it's a nonprofit, and you can go check that out, donate to the cause, and that will overall help our industry. But moving on, we'll go through some rapid fire news before we jump into the chat. Like I said, lots of chatter going on so far. Lots of people joining the stream. Welcome, welcome. If you're just joining, smash the like, help support me in the channel. But we'll jump into some news here. And then we'll look at some charts, some technical analysis. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on what we're looking at in terms of the technicals. But we'll go through some of this fundamental news, and then we'll jump into that. So on MJ banking bill, Congressman is balancing optimism with realism as Senate talks heat up. So again, I know everybody's sick and tired and being told that talks are heating up. Congress is looking to do something. The Senate, multiple bills already passed through the House and passed, but just dead on arrival at the Senate. We know that Congress has basically just been spinning its thumbs and not doing anything, right? Just twiddling their thumbs, not doing anything. All talk. We don't really care what they say. We're going to watch what they do, right? And at the moment, we remain skeptical, right? We remain. They say optimism here. Keyword optimism. I'm a pessimist until something gets done. I'm not really that convinced that Congress can get something done. But now that the Republicans have taken control of the House, that could increase the odds that we see some motivation from these political parties to get something done, especially from the Democrat side, before this transfer of power from the House-controlled, Democrat-controlled House to the Republican-controlled House, right? So that, in my opinion, increases the odds that we could see that into the end of the year. But I think that there's a higher probability that something gets changed with regards to an executive order. So whether it be Biden right, coming in and signing an executive order. That might have a better chance. But again, because of the fact that House is now going to be controlled by the Republicans, I think that increases the odds that we could see some sort of reform into the end of the year. So this definitely increases the odds that Congress could get something done here into the end of the year. And something to be aware of as well is that safe banking, we're going to need that safe banking to get passed first, right? We want the financial conglomerates in the space, right, in the world are going to want to get into the space first, and then we're going to probably get rescheduling. And ultimately, I think MJ is going to end up on the same level as tobacco and alcohol, right? A lot of alcohol companies and tobacco companies are getting into the space. Why? It's because they have the most to lose, right? From MJ legalization, it's eating into their profits with alcohol. People are looking for healthier alternatives. People are looking for healthier alternatives to smoking. So that's why it's eating into those tobacco giants and alcohol giants profits, right, and revenues. So obviously they have the most to lose, so they're going to want to get involved in the space first. And then the Wall Street banks, the JP Morgans, the Morgan Stanleys, the Goldman Sachs, they're going to want to be positioned first. So we're going to need safe banking, and then we're going to need rescheduling, and then I think we'll get full-blown legalization. But until that happens, I think that they're going to continue to hinder the industry, and they're going to hold it back until they get positioned. So that is the order of events that I can see rolling out. But we'll go through this here real quick. So the House sponsor of MJ banking bill says that he sees signs of the Senate will finally act during a lame duck session, but he is cautioning that he's been disappointed before. Just like I said before, right? All talk, no walk. So we'll want to see what they do, not what they say. But this is encouraging. Ed Perlmutter, who is retiring after this session, told Yahoo Finance on Tuesday that he's an eternal optimist who still believes that Congress will pass the Secure and Fair Enforcement Safe Banking Act, but he's also a realist who recognizes that time is short to get something done. So as I just mentioned, they only have a few weeks in this lame duck session to get something done. So I do think that there's a very high probability. We know that the stock market, SPY, the S&P 500 was a daily bull flag targeting 417. We closed the day at 407, and we were up to 408 after hours. We have resistance on the weekly and the daily at 410 on SPY, but I've been calling for a big move up in the end of the year and consolidation on the DXY, the dollar, which we finally got monthly consolidation for the first time in almost 11 months, almost a full year. So that was great to see. So again, bodes well for an end of year market rally, and that would be tailwinds for the market if we do see this safe banking get safe plus or rescheduling into the end of the year. I don't think we're going to get rescheduling. I think that's something maybe into 2023, but we get safe banking first, then rescheduling, then full-blown legalization. The optimist says we're going to get it done. There are several ways we can do it, he said, noting that the reform could be enacted through a larger vehicle like the National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, or omnibus appropriations legislation, or as a standalone. But the realist in me says I've been disappointed before, and the industry has been disappointed before, but it's gotten stuck in the Senate, and time is short. So like I said, House usually passing things and then dead on arrival at the Senate, right? I think given the activity in the Senate that we've seen over the course of the last month, both out of the Banking Committee as well as the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's office, I think something is going to happen. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure it does, at least on the House side, he said. When it comes to Safe Banking Act, it's not clear what more can be done on the House side, as the chamber has already approved the bill 7 times in some form, as I mentioned. What supporters are waiting to see is what comes out of the Senate in the coming days or weeks as Schumer finalizes what's expected to be a package of MJ banking and expungements legislation. So Perlmutter said that there are other components that other senators have expressed interest in adding to the so-called Safe Plus package, including promoting MJ research, maybe a pilot program dealing with PTSD within the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. So we'll go through this a little bit quicker. A way to fashion this, and I think keeps Republicans in the Senate, we need at 10 at least, I think, to pass it out of the Senate with the Democrats and move it back to the House, where I think it would pass, it and send it to the president, to President Biden. So we'll run through this a little bit quicker here. So Schumer said late last month that Congress is getting very close to introducing and passing MJ banking and expungement bill, citing progress he's made in discussions with a bunch of Republican senators. Senator Cory Booker, meanwhile, said following the election that Democrats who want to enact MJ reform must either do it now during the lame duck session or wait many years from now when his party has a shot at controlling Congress again. So some more incentivization for that to get done in this lame duck session. But if you want to read that whole article, you can check that out on your own time. But I'm going to move on in effort of time. Also, The global MJ Stocks Index extends its rally in November, another positive sign. Also, SAFE Act is essential, says Independent Community Bankers of America. So again, more support for that. We know that this time could be different as well, with Apple secretly joining Amazon in advancing commercial MJ reform. So again, I think this time is definitely different. But again, we want to see what they do, not what they say. Senators file bill to make MJ businesses eligible for SBA loans as well. So Small Business Administration loans, another step in the right direction, and more encouraging signs that we could see larger and broader reform among the space. Also, in other news, Canopy Growth to restructure Canadian operations, and they are set to lay off another 55 employees as they continue to reduce cost and strive towards profitability. But we'll jump into some technical analysis. Again, I did some analysis on OGI earlier today. I did a video, so I'm not going to dive into it too much, but we are in a weekly uptrend with weekly higher lows and higher highs. We've yet to start the monthly bounce, though. We haven't even broken last month's high there at 108. So if we break 108 USD, we'll start the monthly bounce. But we need monthly uptrends across the sector. And something that we can use as a benchmark and a blueprint is CGC. CGC already having changed its monthly trend. You can see here we had the low at 213, the high of the bounce at 430, a higher low there at 223. So we held that 213 support, higher low at 223, and then we broke resistance at 430. We hit a high of 456. So what did that give us? That gave us our low, high, higher low, and higher high. What constitutes an uptrend? A low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high, right? So higher lows and higher highs are uptrends, lower highs and lower lows are downtrends, right? When you see this, higher lows and higher highs, that's an uptrend. And when you see lower highs and lower lows, that's a downtrend. So at the moment, we are in a monthly uptrend on CGC. We just need follow through. And now we need the rest of the sector to do that, right? The more names, individual names that do that, once HMMJ does it, once MSOS, the ETF in the US does it, then we'll be more confident that the bear market is in. But yet, we still haven't done that yet. We're still in a clear monthly downtrend on HMMJ. So until we have the monthly bounce underway now, and today's the last day of the month as well. So tomorrow will be a new monthly candle. So we'll be looking for further upside continuation, in my opinion, this month into December. And then we'll look for a higher low and a higher high. But until we get that monthly trend change on our ETFs, we can't be confident that a bear market bottom is in until that macro level uptrends are confirmed, and not just on CGC, but on Tilray, HEXO, TrueLeaf, CureLeaf, MSOS, HMMJ, the retailers like High Tide, Fire and Flower. Once all names confirm monthly uptrends, then it'll be all systems go, and we can be confident that a bear market bottom is in. But not seeing that yet. MSOS, we'll just take a quick peek at it. So in terms of the monthly time frame, again, this is the end of the monthly candle. It's a monthly inside bar, actually 2 monthly inside bars in a row, and it's likely going to be another monthly inside bar tomorrow. So 3 monthly inside bars in a row, a tightening range, and likely going to potentially see a break next month. And I am leading on the side of bullish. So again, we'll look for the bounce to get underway. Key resistance is going to be the high of this month at 1241. After that, we're looking at 1313 as resistance. But if we break 1241 tomorrow or next month, then the monthly bounce will be underway. And then again, we'll look for the monthly bounce to get underway. We'll set a high, a higher low, and higher high, and then we can be confident that the bear market bottom is in. We could potentially see an inverse head and shoulders as well forming on the monthly time frame. So if we do lose support tomorrow or this month coming up in December, if we lose 10, 11 support, then we'll start monthly consolidation, and we won't want to see a drop below $10. If we drop below $10, that's going to decrease the odds of a inverse head and shoulders here on the monthly time frame. But I do think that there's a good chance that we could see the monthly bounce start next month. We did have all-time high record monthly volume on MSOS last month, and that was in October, and also on CGC as well. So if we go over to the CGC chart, you can see here on the monthly time frame, that was the all-time high record volume in terms of the NASDAQ. And I hear so many people say, well, of course it was a high volume. The prices are so low that it's easy for volume to hit a record. Well, as the old adage goes, volume precedes price. And usually we see an increase in volume and then the price follows, right? So I don't understand the argument that people say, of course, you can buy a lot more shares with a lot less dollars, right? But again, the saying goes, volume precedes price for a reason. Once you see record volume, that usually is indicative of a bear market bottom and a capitulation bottom, right? And that we're likely nearing the end of the bear market and gearing up for a new potential multi-year bull market, in my opinion. But I do think that at the moment, we're going to see a lot of our names follow suit with regards to monthly uptrends. And again, if SPY can see a massive end of year rally, that's going to bode well for MJ space, as we'll have tailwinds, we'll have the wind at our back, and we'll be sailing higher from there. But again, until we get some sort of safe banking, safe plus rescheduling in the US, I don't think that we're going to hit our bear market bottom. And I do think that MJ could be one of the best performing assets in the entire globe, really, into 2023, as tech and crypto likely enters a prolonged bear market and consolidation period. So going to jump into the chat here. If anybody does have any ticker requests, let me know. We'll try to keep it centered around MJ, as this is an MJ video. But if anybody does have any requests, let me know with regards to MJ. But once again, thanks again for joining us, everybody on the Pursuit of Wealth. I see we have quite a few people joining us, so we'll jump into it. So Boris says 2023. I assume you mean 2023 is going to be the year of MJ. I would definitely not argue with that. And we know that New York recreational coming online in 2023 at some point. We know that not only New York, but Germany as well, likely in the back half of 2023. Trucker says, let's go HEXO. You bet. Welcome, Leisha. Welcome, everyone. My own comment. Greetings, everyone. Greetings, Jamlosi. Welcome to the stream. Can you please take a look at the copper chart? Usually dictates the health of the economy. Yeah, I would say oil as well, right? We'll take a quick peek here. I do want to keep it centered around MJ, but taking a look at the copper chart here, copper futures, we do have a monthly uptrend. So we have the low, high, higher, low, and higher, high, higher, low, looking for another higher high. So at the moment, key support's going to be 633.70 and then resistance at 707.30. But it's looking pretty good. This is the end of the monthly candle as well. Monthly bounce underway. We are in a monthly downtrend, though, with lower highs and lower lows. And the monthly bounce is underway, but we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross, which means that we could see more downside. Similar to SPY, everything's just kind of similar. Monthly downtrend, EMA 12 and 26 monthly bear cross looming over our heads. So we could see more downside. Anything under 814.60 is a monthly lower high. And we'll look for a monthly trend change here with the low, high, higher, low. Once we get that higher low and higher high, we'll be back in a monthly uptrend. But right now, until then, we're still bearish. But I believe that's the chart you wanted to look at. Let me know if it wasn't the correct one. But I don't really follow copper that closely. Usually I look at oil. So if we take a look at U.S. oil as a potential gain, I assume it's something similar, right? Monthly time frame. We did confirm a monthly downtrend. Yep. So we had a high, low, lower high, and lower low, another lower high and lower low. So we are in a monthly downtrend again, monthly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross potentially looming ahead of us. So it's looking like we could see more downside as well, potentially heading to monthly oversold. But monthly inside bar just started a new monthly candle. So monthly inside bar, we have key resistance there at 93.73, support at 73.62. So whichever way we break, if we break resistance at 93.73, we start the monthly bounce. If we lose support there at 73.62, we continue monthly consolidation. So we need to see these higher lows and higher highs back into monthly uptrends, or we need to see a break of the lower high and lower low pattern to see the break of the monthly downtrend. But still nowhere near that yet. We're still bearish, but again, I am expecting a pretty big, massive end of year rally. Hopefully that helps. Marcus says, greetings. Welcome to the live stream. AJ, you definitely have the coolest intros. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I don't put too much effort, to be honest, into the intros, but appreciate the feedback. And I manage it all myself, so I don't have any, graphic design team or anybody helping me. Everything that you see on my channel, I do it all by myself. I do all the thumbnails, I do all the designs, I do all the website stuff. I've literally done everything. I hired a couple people. I hired someone to do my logo, but most of that I kind of, tweaked myself, and then hired someone to do the background of my YouTube channel art. But again, some of that I tweaked myself, and I hired somebody to do the intro video, which was this one. So I did hire somebody to do that, paid almost $5,000 for that video. So yeah, he did a great job. If anybody is interested in who that was, goes by Dunpo, I believe, is his handle. But if you're interested, I can give you his contact information if anybody would be interested in learning more about that. But yeah, he did a phenomenal job on that intro. But thanks again for your feedback. HEXO shares at record lows, and I'm at 19-cent, baby. You bet. Yeah, so pretty much everything at record lows, right? Again, I think we need we even had that discussion in the Power Group private community. I think we need to get away from referring to one particular MJ stock, or throwing one particular MJ stock under the bus. Look at Oxley, right? Could be worse, right? Oxley hit 1.5 cents. That's pretty much closest, one of the closest MJ stocks to zero as you possibly could get, right? So 1.5 cents. If we just take a look at the monthly time frame here, so from February 2021 highs, Oxley's down 97%. If we take a look at OGI, right, which had great numbers there that just came out from February 2021 highs, OGI is down 87%. So again, the average for MJ in Canada is 80 to 90% plus down from February 2021 highs. In the US, it's 70 to 80% plus on average. So again, we can tailor anything that we want. We can make anything look like a turd. We can make anything look great, depending on what time frame we're looking at. But the fact is that everything right now in the MJ space is just getting absolutely destroyed. And either we're setting new all-time lows or we're testing all-time lows. And that's just the fact of the matter, right? And HEXO is testing new all-time lows, but we are starting to see that volume pick up as well, just like CGC, just like MSOS, not record monthly volume by any means on the NASDAQ, but getting extremely close. And yeah, I'm not worried. Like I said, a lot of people are getting frustrated. They're getting tired of seeing low prices, but to be honest, I don't really care. I'll just continue to use this as a way to accumulate and buy these absurdly low prices, right? This is where true generational wealth is made. It was when we get these low prices, and you can get rich in a bull market, but in a bear market is where you become wealthy, right? But yeah, better days ahead, I think. Let's go, HEXO. You bet. Hey, Rod from Power Group, home of MJ Stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. You bet. You've got the intro down. Thanks, Fallon. Thanks for joining the stream. 1,018 shares of HEXO. Very nice. Yeah, I'm close to, I think I'm over 50,000 shares now. HEXO is down. I'm loading up at 15 cents. You bet. I've got a buy order in at 15 cents, but it didn't hit. We hit a low of 15.85 cents, but never triggered my buy order of 15 cents. I've had it set for many months now at this point. HEXO goes to 50 cents. I'm loading the boat. If it goes to 50 cents, it's at 16 cents. Do you mean 5 cents? Not sure what you mean by that, Mr. Warner, but thanks for your comment. Thanks for joining the stream. HEXO, yep. So as I mentioned, we're dropping to a monthly lower low. We saw a new all-time low. I've got a buy order in for 15 cents. Definitely struggling. Look at that weekly volume, though, that we had a couple weeks ago. Almost record high weekly volume. We're still rejecting at EMA 12. Look at that EMA 12. That yellow line is brick wall of resistance. So if we can get a weekly candle close over that yellow line there, that would be a massive momentum shift. We do have earnings coming up next month as well, tentative for December 19th. We'll want to see official confirmation from HEXO on that. But I do think that we could see this thing turn around into December, if not into the first quarter earnings in 2023. First earnings report in 23, if not the second one. That would bode well for a sector-wide reversal as well. But the wild card is going to be the broader market. We start to see massive, if we see a massive downfall in the S&P 500, which I think is a very high chance and probability of that happening. If we see this .com fractal follow through and we see a pullback to around the 200 or low 200s on SPY, that's going to be the wild card, right? Whether or not MJ outperforms the broader market, I think there's a good chance that it could, but it's just a wild card right now. So again, all we can do is hedge. We can short the S&P 500 as a hedge, and we can keep cash on the side, right? And we can just dollar cost average, right? That's how you protect against the market volatility and more downside. So at this point, I do think MJ is very close to a bottom. It's just how long is it going to be before we confirm that bottom, right? And until we confirm monthly uptrends, until HEXO sees a bounce on the monthly and a higher low and a higher high, we're not going to be confident in that bottom being in yet. Just be aware that we could see more downside and more opportunity to accumulate. Again, CGC changed this monthly trend, but we need the whole sector to do so. And HEXO still hasn't even started the monthly bounce yet. Next month starting tomorrow. So if we break 19.3 cents next month, we'll start the monthly bounce, and then we'll look for a high, higher low, and higher high. So it's going to be a few months yet before we see a monthly uptrend confirm on HEXO. We still need that high and then a higher low and higher high. So we need at least 3 more months before we can confirm that the monthly trend has changed. But we have until January 25th to regain compliance with the NASDAQ. Could they get another extension? It's possible. But we know they already have approval to do up to a 14-to-1 reverse split. So again, we got about 2 months. So it's November 30th, so December 30th, January 30th, so just under 2 months to regain compliance. But as I said, if we see Safe Banking pass and Safe Plus get approved in the end of the year and potential rescheduling, that could easily send HEXO back above $1, in my opinion, organically. But if not, I really don't think delisting is going to happen because we already have that approval to do up to a 14-to-1 reverse split. And we know that back here, they did a 1-for-4 reverse split back in December 2020. But it was revised down. It was originally going to be a 1-for-8, but because the stock went on a huge move, they decided to revise it down to a 1-for-4 reverse split. So cut them a little bit of slack. Last time they did a reverse split, we went from $2 to $11. So, and we were at the end of a bear market when they did that split. And we could potentially do another split at the end of this bear market. And what happened last time? They did a split and then we ran almost 400%. So if something similar happened this time where we had the end of the bear market approaching, they do a reverse split and we go 400%, that'd put us back up to around 66 cents, not factoring in the split. All right. So I think that the most likely scenario is we potentially see just organically regain compliance. And then if not, I do think that reverse split would be next. Really don't see this thing delisting. So hopefully that helps. I will bring up the weekly time frame though for HEXO. Seeing a little bit of weakness here on the weekly time frame. We're seeing a stochastic bear cross, and the MACD is dangerously close to crossing bearish as well, which would be the first time in a couple of years. So it's not looking that great. Not going to sugarcoat it. We're back below the 10-week moving average, but I want to see us close this week over 18 cents, that 10-week moving average. And hopefully the MACD can stay bullish, but it's dangerously close to a bear cross at the moment. In terms of the weekly moving averages, if nothing nearby until the 50 weekly, they're at 35 cents. After that, 243. So if we can get a weekly candle close over 35 cents, watch out. This thing could easily rocket. And if we take a look at the daily time frame, we're gearing up for a potential golden cross. Here we had a death cross back in the summer of 2021 with the 50-day moving average above the 200-day moving average. So when your shorter term time frame moving averages are above the longer term and they come down, and the 50 on the daily time frame comes down through the 200, that's called a death cross. When that occurred, the price was at $4. That was a huge sell signal. And then we went all the way down to 16 cents, 15 cents, right? USD. Now we're potentially seeing a bull cross, a golden cross, which we refer to as on the daily time frame when those moving averages cross with the shorter term below the longer term. When that happens, it's called a bull cross. And on the daily time frame, when the 50 crosses up through the 200, that's called a golden cross. So that could potentially happen over the next few weeks and months. As you can see here, that it's quite close. Likely going to be a couple of months though before it happens. And if we were to get back to the 200 moving average, that would be around 30 cents. So hopefully that helps. Oh, you meant 15 cents if it gets there. Yep. So we got pretty close today. And I've got a buy order in for 15 cents as well. Do you think HEXO will reach $1 before January? So I just went over that. Hopefully I think I already answered that. But yes, I do think that there's a very high probability of that happening. Because HEXO's on the NASDAQ, right? And a lot of people that tune into HEXO in my videos are from the US. And once we get Safe Banking, Safe Plus, once we get Safe Banking, once we get rescheduling, a lot of the people in the US are going to run toward these NASDAQ listed names. So your CGC, your Tilrays, your Sundial, your HEXOs, your OGIs, right? And until we get USMJ uplisted to US major exchanges like the NYSE and the NASDAQ, I will expect Canadian MJ and NASDAQ listed names to continue to get majority of the attention as we see the hype build in the sector. Is the 418 on SPY the critical level to be out of a bear market? Good question. So we'll take a look here. So SPY, it has resistance at 410. That is a weekly resistance level here and right here. And it's also a daily resistance level. So 410, very key resistance. After that, we have 418 And then 427, like you said, 418. Let's just take a look here. So on the weekly time frame, we're in a weekly uptrend with a low, high, higher low, and higher high. And we haven't consolidated on the weekly time now in time frame in about 4 months. So in about a month, we haven't 4 weeks. So in about a month, we haven't consolidated, but we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross on the weekly. In order to get out of a bear market, we need a down. Not sure what just happened there. Can everybody hear me okay? I think my internet might have just had a slight blip. But let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay. I see the time still chugging along, so hopefully everything's still good. I think it's still having some connection issues. We've got a storm here outside here in Edmonton, so maybe let me know, folks, if you can still hear me okay. I just had an alert come up saying that the connection was weak, but looks like it's gone now. So again, let me know in the comments below. We had some technical difficulties there. I think I cut out, but let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay. Yeah, we can hear you now. Perfect. Thank you very much. So on SPY, I would say that in order to be out of the bear market, we need to break the monthly downtrend. So anything under 429.96 is a monthly lower high. So right now we're still in a monthly downtrend with lower highs and lower lows. So we had another lower high there at 429 and then a lower low at 348, the low of the pullback. Now we're starting the monthly bounce, having broken 389.52 resistance, but anything under 429.96 is just a monthly lower high in a monthly downtrend. So in order to be out of the bear market, I would say we need to get above 429.96, or that would negate the downtrend, and then the trend would be flat, but then we would still need to confirm a monthly uptrend. So in order to get there, two things we would need to see to get us out of a bear market, in my opinion, would be to break to a higher high, break 429.96 and negate the monthly downtrend, or top out before that resistance, come down, form a monthly higher low, and then a higher high, get back into a monthly uptrend. And if we're back into a monthly uptrend, then we're out of a bear market. Or if we break the downtrend with a break of 429.96, then we're back out of a bear market, right? So, but again, could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross on the monthly EMAs. The first time that happened since 2008. And if we look at 2008 and the financial crisis, when that happened, we came down, we confirmed a monthly downtrend, we came back, kiss of death, and then we had that bear cross of the EMAs on the monthly time frame. Then the price dropped 50% on the S&P 500. So the fact that we're getting above those EMAs now in the monthly time frame is a good sign. And I wouldn't be surprised if we deviate from this fractal, from the .com fractal that I overlaid here, because we didn't have all the manipulation in the market that we saw in the everything bubble back in the .com bubble, right? We know that the Fed's printing trillions of dollars. We know that there's rising inflation. We have a geopolitical war going on at the moment. So, and we know that Congress still hasn't been banned from owning stocks yet. So I think we could potentially see this deviate a little bit and see a massive end of year rally. And then they'll pass a bill potentially banning Congress from owning stocks. They'll look like heroes. They'll say, oh, we had to sell the top, not because we wanted to, because we had to, because they forced us into doing so. They'll look like heroes, and then they'll make off like bandits. And we'll see probably the worst crash in market history in 2023, in my opinion. But wouldn't be surprised if we deviated from this because of how manipulated the market is. But again, we need to see that monthly higher low and higher high. But if we do see monthly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross, and we see something similar to the 2008 financial crisis, if we see that bear cross and 50% of downside, that would bring us down to around 190 on the S&P 500, right? Which also lines up with that .com fractal saying that we could easily see low 200s over the next year or so, as we look for a potential bottom somewhere around the end of 2023 to beginning of 2024, and potentially go to monthly oversold just like we did in the .com days. We also had that hidden bearish RSI divergence, which ultimately led to monthly oversold. We had about 4 years from the time that the RSI peaked to when the price peaked. And then the same thing here, price RSI peaked on the monthly on the everything bubble chart. And then 4 years later, we peaked in price. So it's pretty much identical. But again, wouldn't be surprised if we deviated a little bit, just based on how manipulated the markets are, right? With all the money printing and Congress still yet to be banned from owning stocks. Watch that to mark a potential market top. So hopefully that answers your question. Paying attention to HEXO earnings on December 11th. I think it was tentative for the 19th, but let's just take a look here. Yeah, so it says on TradingView the 19th. And if we go to investing.com, already there, HEXO. Bring it up real quick here. I really like investing.com. If you're not familiar, you can just go here, click on financials, and click on earnings. They're forecasting December 19th as well. We'll want to see official confirmation from HEXO. The 19th would put us on a Monday, so that would make sense. But if we go down here to FAQ, so December 15th, says financial statements are due by. Or wait, hang on a second here. Yeah, December 15th, period ending of October, so Q1. So it might even be, could even be on the 13th. So, or hang on a second here. Could even be this week here between the 12th and the 16th. But again, don't think we need to worry about it too much. Just kind of take it as it comes. We'll just wait for official confirmation from HEXO as always, right? But yeah, I'm not, again, to go back to what I said earlier, not too concerned about individual earnings reports until the whole sector confirms monthly uptrends or until we get a sector-wide catalyst like actual safe banking passing or rescheduling. Just like the video that I just made here on OGI, they had phenomenal earnings, right? They crushed earnings on EPS and revenue, and they had 19% quarterly growth, huge year-over-year growth, and the stock only moved 6% and then closed at the low of the day, gave the whole move back, and we're just not seeing it, right? So even with great earnings from OGI and taking market share in Canada, number one, number two position in certain categories, it's just not moving the needle, right? So again, I wouldn't be too worried about individual earnings reports, including HEXO, until the sector-wide catalysts that we're looking for comes, or until the whole sector confirms monthly uptrends. I'm personally more interested in the first and second report in 2023, as that more than likely lines up with the best chances of reform in the US. But yep, hit the like button. I appreciate that. Definitely helps the channel out. Like I said, thank you very much. High tide, sure, we can take a look at high tide. If you haven't seen my high tide video, I did do a video 2 weeks ago on high tide. We had a POW algo buy alert go off on high tide as well, showing medium to long-term bullish evidence. 35% gains in the past week from that video, and the monthly bounce is underway. So you can check that video out as well. But yeah, essentially, monthly bounce was underway. We had a tightening range. We were going sideways there for quite some time. And if you see here, the monthly bounce got underway as soon as we broke 155 resistance. And we have no monthly resistance all the way up to 589. So as soon as that monthly bounce started to happen, 589. So as soon as that monthly bounce happened, we had upside potential of about 280% just in terms of the price action. But the EMAs there, EMA 12 would be about a 75% move, and EMA 26 is about 125% move. So look how close we got to EMA 12, right? So we started the monthly bounce. We're still in a monthly downtrend though, with lower highs and lower lows. Anything under 589 on this monthly bounce is a monthly lower high. So I wouldn't say we're going to break the monthly downtrend, but now we've got a ton of room for a monthly higher low and higher high. So what we'll be looking for is a monthly uptrend to confirm, just like CGC, right? CGC is a prime example. We have the low, high, higher low, and higher high. Now high tide needs to do the same. Now we have the high forming. Now we need a higher low and then a higher high. Once that happens, we can be confident that the bear market is over and that we're entering a new potential multi-year bull market. But like I said, in terms of the weekly time frame, high tide is looking really good. We're coming down. We're starting weekly consolidation. We're starting a new month this month as well. But we're holding the 10-week moving average. The 10-week moving average is starting to curl, and the MACD and the stochastic are going parabolic as well. So it's looking really, really good there in terms of the weekly macros. In terms of the weekly moving averages, we have nothing nearby until 278 there at the 50 weekly. We already got that 50 and 100 bear cross out of the way. So that's looking good. And then in terms of the daily time frame, we could see a golden cross over the next probably not weeks, but months, in my opinion, because we're still quite a ways away. We need to see the 50 come up through the 200 and cross, which is at 247, and we're currently at 186. So it'll be a while before that 50-day moving average at 149 crosses through 247. So I'd say it'd be at least a couple months, if not 3 months or more, before we see a golden cross on high tide. But that doesn't mean we can't still see a lot of upside in the meantime because of that lack of resistance on the monthly time frame. So it's looking really good, but still in a monthly downtrend. Need to confirm monthly uptrends to be confident that the bottom is in. Hopefully that helps. The only thing that will get HEXO over dollar will be a reverse split. Yeah, that's potential. That's possible. Again, you'll be surprised how fast all of these things will move. I could easily see stocks running 200, 300% if we get safe banking or potential rescheduling and uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ. I think a lot of people will be surprised at because of how beaten down we have been, and because of how long we've been just stagnant and forming this base. The longer the base, the higher in space, as the saying goes, right? The greater the suppression, the greater the expansion. So I think people will be pleasantly surprised of how fast things can move once we do get some momentum shift and positive catalysts in the space. So Jesse requested HEXO. I already went over HEXO. So hopefully that answered all your questions. If you just joined and I already went over it and you didn't see it, you just have to rewind. I just went over it not too long ago. I strongly believe that great earnings report won't even get HEXO over 50 cents. Yeah, as I've been saying, not worried about individual earnings reports, because just look at Organogram. They had a great earnings report and the stock only moved 6% and then ended up closing at the low of the day, giving the whole move back. So I would agree, not worried about individual earnings reports until we confirm monthly uptrends across the sector on MSOS, HMMJ, retailers, ETFs, American and Canadian MJ. Until we have monthly uptrends across the board on all of those names, not too worried about individual earnings reports. I agree. And Organogram is a prime example of that, right? Great earnings, stock barely moved. You may be right. Yep. Well, again, I don't have a crystal ball. I've been wrong many times. I've been right many times. But all we can do is prepare for all scenarios, right? I'm not some guru. I'm just a guy on YouTube. And, I've got almost 15 years of experience in the financial markets. And, I just tell you how I see it. Tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear either. And I'm just being 110% real with you folks. Full U.S. legalization is when MJ sector will pop. Don't be late to the party. Yeah, exactly. And it only happens once. So just be grateful that you're even here, right? Just be grateful that you're even able to have money. There's people who don't even have money to invest, right? Some people are struggling just to make ends meet or pay bills and keep a roof over their head. So if you've got money to invest in MJ stocks, be grateful for that. Be grateful that you're alive. Be grateful that you have health. Be grateful that you're experiencing this once in a lifetime opportunity that'll only ever happen once, right? It's easy to get down at the prices and whatnot, but again, this is only going to happen once. And I'm just grateful to be here experiencing it with you all. And yeah, I definitely won't be late to the party. I'm going to continue to use this time that we have of low prices to accumulate. I own more crypto right now than I do MJ dollar wise, but I expect that to change as well in the near future. I'm hedging with an SPXS position short on the S&P 500. I still got a six-figure cash position that I've been dollar cost averaging into MJ stocks. So again, I'll continue to do that. So high tide, another request. Hector, I think you already, you requested that earlier, so I already went over that. So it looks like you had a double comment there. I like low prices. Yep. So again, I like low prices and I cannot deny. I cannot lie. It reminds me of the rap song. Yeah, just having some fun. But yeah, I mean, you gotta have fun, right? It is what it is, right? The same thing happened with crypto. I remember Cardano went down to like 1 cent, and then in a couple of years, in March 2020, in the C19 lows, Cardano hit 1 cent, and then it went to $3.17 in less than 2 years. So that's what I'm saying. In bear markets is when you can get generationally wealthy, right? Where you can become wealthy. You can get rich in a bull market, but it's those bear market low capitulation bottoms that create the true wealth opportunities, right? And I truly believe that MJ is going to be the next to see those 100x plus gains, right? I can't wait till it turns around and everyone tries to buy in. Good luck, everyone. Yeah, well, once you start to see Everybody on social media talk about MJ. Once you see MJ on, BNN Bloomberg, on CNBC, main page headlines, that's probably going to be the time where we should start to take some profits at least. Not telling you to buy, sell, or hold. This is for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Do your own research. Everything you do is your own decision, right? I'm just telling you my thoughts and opinions. And I've got MJ in a long-term no-touch portfolio. I'm not touching that until the U.S. legalizes. I've got a short-term account as well where I'll continue to dollar cost exit as I've been dollar cost averaging in. I'll dollar cost average out in my short-term account, but I've got MJ in a long-term account that I'm not selling until the U.S. legalizes, however long that may be. But yeah, good luck everybody else, and good luck to yourself, trucker. But yeah, again, it's once we start to see, I did a video as well. Why most influencers do not cover MJ stocks? You can check that out. But essentially, once we do see tons of influencers like myself covering MJ, once you see, everybody and their dog talking about it, that might be a good time to start considering taking some profits, right? Just sold some high tie and finally had a bounce. So you sold it before the bounce? Is that what you mean? If so, yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, again, that's why time in the market is probably better than timing the market, right? If you're looking to go long and buy a stock and hold it, time in the market's probably better at all-time lows and new all-time lows than timing the market, right? Trying to time bounces and things like that and these small moves at the end of a bear market just doesn't really make sense to me. If we were at 52-week highs and we were at the top of a bull market like February 2021, then timing the market and trying to get those bounces and whatnot might make more sense. But right now, I think that the opportunity is just in buying and holding at these absurdly low prices that we may never see again. I'm a trigger HEXO at 15 cents, buying $315. Very nice. Yep. Got a buy order in for 15 cents myself. Reverse split will hurt HEXO even more if I'm not mistaken. Well, again, last time HEXO did a reverse split, everybody said the same thing. And if we go back to the chart, reverse split happened December 2020, and we went from $2 to $11. So we went up almost 400% after the reverse split. So that logic doesn't really compute, right? The difference is, if you take a look at Sundial did a reverse split, and then it was a 1 for 10. And then it dropped to a monthly lower low. But the difference is we didn't end the bear market yet. So it did a reverse split in the midst of a bear market, whereas HEXO did a reverse split at the end of the bear market, and then the whole sector went on a bull market run. So the fact that we went on a bull run and they did that split right at the end of the bear market, did well for them. And they also revised it down. It was originally scheduled to be a 1 for 8 reverse split, and then they revised it down to a 1 for 4 because of the reversal in the sector, right? So cut them some slack for that. But last time it did it was at near the end of the bear market, and then it went from $2 to $11. Here we are potentially near the end of a bear market again. And if we do see a reverse split, if we don't organically get above $1 and we see a reverse split, again, the fact that last time we were at the end of a bear market, entering a new bull market, same thing this time. I really don't care, to be honest. Reverse splits are very common in the space, right? Because of how manipulated the space is, because of the lack of regulation, how risky the space is, right? It takes months and months to grow the plant before you can even sell it to make a profit. It's just a completely different industry, right? And realistically, like MJ is the only industry where I've seen this many reverse splits. And eventually it'll come to a time where once MJ is legalized and we see huge, reform and, moves to the upside, eventually reverse splits are going to be a thing of the past, in my opinion. But it's very common in the space right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rod. So yeah, hopefully I just went over that. Again, it could create more downside as a result of a reverse split, but last time it happened, we went from $2 to $11, and it was at the end of a bear market entering a new bull market, and the same scenario presents itself this time around. So yeah, I'm not worried at all, to be honest. If a bear cross presents, how much do you think HEXO will drop? Bear cross on what time frame? Because we already had the bear cross on the monthly time frame occur. Yeah, we're more close to bull crosses than bear crosses at the moment. Weekly moving averages, bear cross already occurred, and on the daily time frame, we're gearing up for potential golden cross. Yeah, so there's not really any bear crosses in terms of EMAs or moving averages on HEXO. but we'll be watching 15 cents. After 15 cents, just basically psychological levels from there, right? So 10 cents. Already went over a high tide. You're fine. Perfect. Thank you. Can hear you now again. Already went over that. Thank you very much. Good. Perfect. Sounds good. Good. When will SAFE Act bill pass? So again, very high chance that it could pass in the lame duck session here over the next few weeks. If not, it may be a while, right? Maybe in 2023, could be a couple years. But I think that that Congress is going to use this lame duck session to potentially get something done in the next few weeks. So, from on the high, at the end of the year, with the end of the year lame duck session, best case scenario, 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. If not, it could be many months, if not a couple years, right? I doubt it's going to be a couple years, but I would think some point in 2023, if not in the next. So, best case scenario over the next few weeks. Worst case scenario, maybe some point in back half of 2023. Fear no evil. Thanks for joining. I'm here. Welcome. Cheers. Keep an eye out for December 7th. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by December 7th. What day is that even? Next Wednesday. Yeah, so we could see something happen this week. If not, I think it's more likely that we see some sort of reform and potential movement in Congress next week. So yeah, that's a good point. MRMD. It's that MariMed, isn't it? On the CSE. Yeah, this name's just super low liquidity. MRMD on the OTC. So still, it's a monthly inside bar at the moment, still in a monthly downtrend with lower highs and lower lows. In terms of the weekly time frame, we do have a big bounce here on the weekly time frame. We're just looking for a higher low and then a higher high. So if we can hold this low here, form this higher low, which we are now, and then break resistance at 69 cents, we'll be back in a weekly uptrend. But again, until we're confident that the bear market is over, we need monthly uptrends, which we would need a monthly bounce, which we started last month, but now we're a monthly inside bar, setting up for another potential monthly inside bar next week, which just means, or tomorrow, next month, which just means we're tightening up, right? We're within last month's range. So what we want to see is a continued monthly bounce, form a monthly high, higher low and higher high. Once that happens, we can be confident that the bear market is over. Pretty much the same for all MJ, right? CGC is an example of that. We had the low, high, higher low, higher high. Now we need the rest of the sector to do so as well. My favorite. Yeah, definitely. I don't have anything against it. Not a position I hold, but I do think that it could do well long term. Sold my high tide to buy more HEXO. That's funny because I had a friend of mine telling me to sell my HEXO to buy high tide. And I said, well, joke's on you. I already own high tide. I don't know. Some people are funny, man. They can only own one, right? It's like you can own more than one, right? So I take the diversification approach. I've been buying high tide. I did a video on high tide not that long ago, actually. If you go back, go quickly here, see if I can find it. Yeah, high tide dilution, weekly bear flag targeting $1. And if we go to the high tide chart, I had the weekly bear flag drawn out and look how close it came. So your weekly bear flag was here. We bring it up on the chart. So low, high, lower high, and we got the weekly bear flag confirmed. It was targeting about $1. We got as low as 130. So we came within about 20% of my target. Technical analysis doesn't always get exactly met, right? It's just we knew that there was a weekly lower high and lower low potential because of that bear flag, and then it happened, but it didn't actually hit its bear flag target of $1. But I was accumulating it ever since we confirmed that bear flag, and we lost that support there at 173. I've been accumulating it ever since. But yeah, I'm up about 40% on this entry now. You can still see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. But yeah, very bullish on high tide long term. One of my favorite retail stocks, actually the only retail stock that I own in Canada. But very bullish on this one long term. Again, you don't have to sell one stock to buy another. I think it's a good idea I own 14 different MJ positions, and HEXO is my biggest position though. But I'm just going to continue to dollar cost average on those names like HEXO. HEXO, I'm down quite a bit. I'm down, 70% or whatever on my entry on average. High tide, I'm up 40% on my entry, right? So take the good with the bad. And HEXO dropped a lot more than we thought. But again, it's just par for the course, right? If we look at February 2021 highs, HEXO's down 98%. And then if we take a look at the Wall Street poster child, Tilray from the same period is down 96%. So who cares if it's an extra 2% more, right? The whole sector's down. Even the U.S. names that everybody says, oh, it's, LPs are garbage. The U.S. stocks are the only ones worth owning. Well, what's their excuse? They're down 70, 80% plus. So 70, 80%, 90%, it's all bad, right? Now you're good. Perfect. See, we got some bot in here. Gonna block the user. There we go. 100%. I am simply grateful to have enough money to buy stocks and cryptos. Yeah, exactly, right? So again, some people don't even have money for food to put on the table. Some don't even have that much ability to pay their bills, right? Keep a roof over their head. So just be grateful that you even have, extra capital to invest, right? It could always be worse. And there's always somebody out there that probably has it worse than you, right? HEXO gets me scared, to be honest. Going to be like salmon against the MJ trend. Well, again, scared money never made any money, and that's the whole reason why the stock market is the way it is. It's designed to make you feel emotions, to scare you in and out of positions. It's meant to make you feel greedy on the way up, to make you feel greedy and FOMO into positions on the way up when you should be selling, and then at the bottom they try to scare you out of your position where you should be buying and holding. And that's just the way the markets are designed, right? So if you're feeling scared, that makes me feel good because we're probably near bottom. Makes sense on the reverse split. Thank you, sir. You're welcome. You mentioned that HEXO is getting very close to another bear cross around the 15-cent mark. Perhaps I misunderstood. Yeah, you must have misunderstood. I'm maybe a monthly lower low. But yeah, that was the next psychological support level to be watching for. But yeah, no bear crosses in terms of the EMAs or moving averages. Thank you. I'm actually in Victoria currently. Edmonton, nicest people in Canada for sure. Yeah, I definitely love this city. I'm not from here originally. I'm from PEI in the East Coast originally. But yeah, I love this place. It's definitely Edmonton's home now. Thank you. What's December 7th? The 6th is my birthday. Well, happy early birthday. Let's get me safe banking. Come on. Yeah, you bet. Excellent channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your contribution. Is HEXO in danger of being delisted? No, I do not think so. I think that there's a good chance that they organically get above it before January 25th compliance. There's even a chance that they could get another extension. I don't think that's likely. There's a chance that they could organically get above $1. I think that's very high probability if Safe Plus gets passed and rescheduling and potential uplisting into the NYSE and the NASDAQ. But yeah, you'd be surprised if Safe Plus does get passed and we get safe banking. A lot of these names could easily run 200, 300, maybe even more than that over the next couple of months, in my opinion. But we already have approval to do a reverse split up to 1 for 14. So delisting is pretty much less than a 1% chance, in my opinion. Exactly what Jamlosi just said. All right. I think we're at the end. Going to start wrapping it up. It was a fun live stream as always. Hopefully everybody got lots of value out of the live stream today. Thank you, Rod. Have a good night, sir. You bet. Thank you for joining the stream. Appreciate the support. If you guys could and gals could smash the like on your way out, I appreciate it. Tick the bell. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. But yeah, we'll see what next week brings, the rest of this week and next week. I'll be doing some more videos as well this week. So stay tuned for that. I'll probably get some videos out tomorrow and on Friday. And share the video with anybody that might find value. So going down it there. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with Powell Group. Hope you have a great night. We'll see you on the next video. Take care.